Imagine a love story so powerful it changes the color of the earth, deciding when flowers bloom, when fields turn gold, and when the world falls silent under winter's grip. This is the legend of Persephone, a goddess who begins as Cora, the bright maiden of spring, and becomes Persephone, queen of the underworld. Her fate is tied to Hades, the ruler of the dead, and to a single symbol that seals destiny itself, the pomegranate. Because in Greek myth, one choice, one bite, can bind you to darkness for part of every year. And when Persephone disappears beneath the earth, it isn't just a family tragedy. It becomes a cosmic one. This is a story of love and fate, where no one walks away untouched, and the seasons are the price. Persephone's story begins in the world above, in sunlight and growing things. She is Cora, the maiden, daughter of Demeter, goddess of grain and harvest, and Zeus, king of the gods. In many tellings, Persephone is the heart of spring itself, young, radiant, moving through fields where flowers open as she passes. Demeter protects her fiercely because Persephone is more than a child. She is the future of fertility, the promise that the earth will keep giving. One day, Persephone wanders through a meadow gathering flowers. The air is warm, the grass is bright, and everything feels harmless. Then the ground splits open. From the dark chasm rises Hades, lord of the underworld, driving a chariot that belongs to a world without sun. In the most famous ancient version, Persephone is seized and carried down beneath the earth. Some later retellings frame it as destiny or romance, but the core myth is clear. Persephone vanishes into the underworld, and the world above hears only her fading cry. Demeter hears it. The moment Demeter realizes her daughter is gone, the story stops being about one girl and becomes about the entire world. Demeter searches like a force of nature. She does not eat. She does not rest. She walks the earth with a torch in her hands, asking every river, every tree, every stranger if they have seen her child. Nights pass, days pass. The goddess who once fed humanity becomes a figure of raw grief. And grief in Greek myth is never small. It shakes reality. During this search, Hecate appears, goddess of crossroads in the night, drawn to the screams and the mystery. Hecate doesn't know the full truth, but she offers Demeter companionship and guidance because some losses are too heavy to carry alone. Together, they seek the only witness who sees everything, Helios, the sun. Helios reveals what no one else can. Persephone was taken into the underworld by Hades, and in many tellings, Zeus, the highest authority on Olympus, allowed it to happen as a marriage arrangement. It is a devastating revelation. Demeter's grief turns into fury, not just at Hades, but at the order of the gods themselves. So Demeter makes a choice that changes history. She withdraws her blessing from the earth. Seeds refuse to sprout. Trees stop bearing fruit. Fields dry into dust. The wind blows over empty soil where grain should be. Humans begin to starve. This is not just punishment, it is leverage, because if humanity dies, worship ends, sacrifices end. The gods lose what connects them to the living world. Demeter, goddess of harvest, has found the one pressure point even Olympus cannot ignore. The crisis spreads upward. Zeus realizes the balance is breaking. The underworld may hold the dead, but the living world is collapsing, and that collapse threatens everything. So Zeus sends Hermes, the swift messenger god, down to the underworld with a command. Persephone must be returned to her mother. Hermes descends into the realm of Hades, an underworld of shadows, silent rivers, and ancient law. He finds Persephone seated in that dim kingdom, no longer just a wandering maiden of spring. In some tellings, she is sorrowful and longing for the sun. In others, she has begun to understand her new power. But either way, her life has split in two. Hermes delivers Zeus's decree, and Hades agrees to release her. But Hades is not simply a villain in Greek myth, he is the keeper of rules. The underworld runs on binding laws, and the most important is this: if you eat the food of the underworld, you belong to it. Before Persephone leaves, she consumes pomegranate seeds, the symbol that locks her fate. Different versions argue whether she eats willingly or is tricked, and the number of seeds varies across retellings. But the meaning stays the same. Persephone is now bound. She cannot return to the world above forever. The underworld has claimed a portion of her life, so a compromise is forged, an agreement that becomes the rhythm of the seasons. Persephone will spend part of each year above with Demeter, and part of each year below with Hades as queen of the underworld. When Persephone rises back to the surface, Demeter's grief lifts, and the earth responds immediately. Green returns to the world, flowers open, crops grow. Spring and summer arrive with Persephone's footsteps. But when the time comes for Persephone to descend again, Demeter feels the loss all over. The harvest weakens, leaves fall, cold spreads across the fields. The world enters autumn and winter, not as random weather, but as a divine emotion written into the soil. The seasons become a calendar of longing, growth when mother and daughter are reunited, barrenness when they are separated. And through it all, Persephone changes. She is no longer only Kore, the innocent maiden of flowers. She becomes Persephone, queen of the underworld, a goddess who belongs to two realms at once. Above, she is the return of life. Below, she is authority among shadows. Her story is not simply romance or tragedy. It is transformation into someone who carries light into darkness and darkness back into the light year after year as the world turns. And that's why Persephone's myth still feels so powerful. It isn't a story where anyone truly wins. Demeter never gets to keep her daughter forever. Hades never gets to hold her completely. And Persephone, the one at the center of it all, must live between two worlds, crossing the boundary of life and death again and again. Because Persephone is not just the bride of Hades or the lost daughter of Demeter. She is a transformation. She begins as Kore, the maiden of spring, and becomes Persephone, queen of the underworld, a goddess who carries both renewal and shadow within her. Every year, when she rises, the earth remembers how to bloom. And every year, when she descends, the world learns what it means to wait. So the next time you see spring return after winter, remember what the Greeks were really saying. The seasons are not just weather. They are a myth carved into time, proof that love can change the world, and fate will still demand its share.